I'm here in sunny Jaipur in a majestic location for an iconic event, the launch of the Mercedes EQA 250 Plus, their entry-level EV, game changer in many ways, but you'll see the review on Tech Today. To understand what Mercedes-Benz is doing in India, I'm joined by a very special guest on the show, Santosh Iyer of Mercedes-Benz India. What a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us, and what a majestic location here at the Rambagh Fort for an iconic event, the Mercedes EQA launch.
Yeah.
Now, Mercedes is associated with luxury, right? And high-end tech as well, Santosh. It's interesting because sometimes that conjures the imagination of very, very high price points. But now with the EQA, I feel like there's a new demographic being unlocked, and it's coming with the right features at the right price point. Is this the real game changer for Mercedes-Benz in India?
No, so for us, if you see from a total portfolio, we have been leading the market now for 9 years, and we have also the first to introduce an electric in India way back in 2020. We also localized the EQS at our plant in Chakan, so we are also producing an EV in India. But I think it was time that we are now bringing an EV into the sub 70 lakh segment, because that's somewhere where when I now compare it with our GLA, which is the entry SUV
Yes.
that we have, the on-road price of that car comes to around 61-62 lakhs. And now you have an EV, which is very similar in terms of dimension, size, a bit higher on equipments, to come at sub 70. So it will be quite interesting, because what we are trying to do here is 80% of the cars sold in India are with finance. So we are trying to give financial, when you compare an EMI, the equated monthly installment, there would be hardly a 5,000 rupees difference. And that's what it takes for the customer to shift to an EV and to an EQA.
You know, if you take that argument further, the cost of owning an EV, Santosh, vis-a-vis a cost of owning an ICE vehicle, petrol or a diesel vehicle. Let's go with your own stables, the Mercedes stables. You said the GLA and now, of course, the EQA. If I am someone in my early 30s, and I'm guessing this is demographic for this particular vehicle, and I consider both of them, even the long-term ownership prospect and the cost of running it wise, wouldn't an EV be a lot more affordable? This is what I'm understanding from the calculations.
No, exactly. And I will come to the affordability part. But firstly, you as a customer are paying a premium for sustainability, because I know right from today's consumer, they are buy organic foods to sourcing responsible products, and all of these cost a bit more than the usual stuff. But I think young customers are ready to pay that premium. Their kids are demanding, because kids want to go to school in an EV, or they are discussing about sustainability. But then on the other side, we have a rational mind, right? End of the day, we want affordability as well. So the initial purchase cost, as I said, maybe you are paying 5,000 rupees more as an EMI for an EV. But when you look at TCO, the total cost of ownership, first let's look at the fuel cost. For a gasoline equivalent, you will end up spending 12,000 rupees for a month of 2,000 kilometers of drive in a month, whereas you will hardly spend 3,500 rupees in a EV, because, and this is considering public charging. Most of the EVs are charged at home, and there the cost is hardly negligible. So I think that's the first big advantage. The second is running cost. On an average, an EV should not cost more than 2,000-3,000 rupees a month to maintain, whereas a combustion engine costs around 5,000 to maintain. So if you add I would say the fuel cost and the maintenance cost, technically net the EV is actually cheaper compared to an ICE. And then for guys who are businessmen, because many of entrepreneurs, startups, they have to file their returns, and EV offers accelerated depreciation. So when you look at that, the car is just not costing someone through the roof, or you can easily afford, one can easily get into a luxury EV than getting into a luxury combustion engine car.
But another big announcement from your end, which really mitigates my whole attempt to play devil's advocate with you, is the whole what's going to happen at the end of my ownership with this vehicle. And I know you did this with petrol and diesel vehicles in the past, but now it's come to EVs. Was that something that was a well thought out move here at Mercedes-Benz India? Is that surely something that will really stir the hornet's nest?
Unfortunately, you are from, you cover tech a lot, and the muscle memory for EVs are coming from tech.
Absolutely.
When you look at mobile phones, when you look at laptops, the life of a battery is 3 to 5 years.
Absolutely.
So the first question is, okay, I buy an EV, but after 5 years, what happens? So we came up with an 8-year warranty on battery. then the perception among consumers is after 8 years you have to replace a battery, and that's not a fact. The fact is these batteries will hardly lose 10% state of charge after 10 odd years, and the life is as good as a combustion engine 15-20 years.
Absolutely.
But then how do you convince a customer? So we said, let's take the risk to us. The residual value, that means the value of a car at the end of 4 years for a GLA is close to 67%. Let's say we guarantee that. We tell a customer that you buy under our agility program, and then we will guarantee you this entire residual value. So technically, a customer only pays for 33% of the car, enjoys a luxury EV, an EQA, and then at the end of 4th year gives the key back and buys the next Mercedes-Benz or upgrades to the next level of cars. So I think these are tools to mitigate this anxiety of what happens after 4 years, as you rightly said, and what is the life of the car itself. Because I think we have to walk the talk to demonstrate, and once the cycle comes up, we are sure there will be enough and more customers at the end of 4 years who would like to own even a used EV.
Absolutely, Santosh, and I think that's a fascinating conversation because Gen Z and younger millennials are now veering towards EVs for the fact that it gives you that performance, it's high on tech for all of us tech enthusiasts. The green number plate has also become aspirational here in India. But then the other argument is when we look at Mercedes as a brand globally, and people have been fans of their ICE vehicles, and that powertrain was something that people have been fanatic about. How is Mercedes really balancing the act between the two now? Because with design, EVs come with a particular sort of design, in terms of what the battery pack will be like, what the performance will be like, what the tech features will be like. Are we going to see a lot more convergence, or will there be a focus on both as two separate entities for Mercedes going forward?
So, it's a very good question. In our parlance, we call it strategically focused, tactfully flexible. Because for us, EV is not an option. We are committed to Ambition 2039, which is a carbon neutral company. So we are not only looking at tailpipe emissions, we are looking at the entire value system to be carbon neutral, including sourcing, recycling, everything. To reach there, of course, the step is you need a zero tailpipe emission car, an EV. Now, can we accelerate overnight? The answer is no. So we need to start somewhere. So we started early. And I tell my team, I don't think there are many brands in the world, or maybe not too many brands, or no brand in the world which will have a gasoline, a very good clean diesel, hybrids, and EVs in the portfolio. So that's the one big strength. The second is look at the brands. I have an EV in a G, I have an EV in a Maybach, apart from Mercedes-Benz and AMG. So, and across our portfolio, across powertrains, so we have an option for the customer. So now we wait for the consumer to start adopting. The younger customers are ready to take the risk, because EV means you need to charge a car, you need to download an app, you need to check, and a middle-aged customer feels it's hassle. Let me go for a combustion engine. My next car would be an EV. Whereas the younger customers are much cooler. They are fine with these apps. They are ready to take the bit of pain, I would say, to find a charging station. But you need this only during intra-city drives. During the city, generally EVs are charged at home or office, so you don't need any more sophistication. So I think it's a matter of time. As a company, we are fully prepared for having the full portfolio. We will get the full range of cars, both in combustion engine as well as on EVs, and we allow the customer to decide. We will have equally or fantastic combustion engine cars, further launches. End of this year, for example, we are launching the long wheelbase E-Class. That's a combustion engine car. Again, a big demand for this car. On the other side, we will be launching 3 new EVs this year.
Right.
And starting with the EQA today to the Maybach, maybe in the EV.
It's interesting you say that, because you have the EVs on one end, and then you have some of these iconic brands under Mercedes out there as well. But EV adoption globally has been slow. And in India as well, sometimes we think there are crippling sort of infrastructure issues, range anxiety still exists. We have all sorts of issues cropping up with the electric ecosystem. But like you said, it must be a slow and steady sort of a revolution. But in that space as well, do you think that the way forward is to give a little bit more of a push to EVs? How do we ensure, as an industry now, not just Mercedes, that this really grows with the right sort of steam?
It's a good point. What happened, actually everyone is to blame also. To some extent, the initial set of EVs, they had the range issues, they had those topics, and the charging infrastructure was not there. But today, if you see the EQA, for example, anything more than 500 plus should take away the range anxiety. Second is when it comes to charging stations. You know, the charge point operators who now provide services, they all don't share their ecosystem. So today, if I own an EV, I need 2 or 3 apps on my phone. What we have done is we have collaborated with Fitch. Fitch is an aggregator of all EV charging stations, or not all, but many charging stations. And you can find 1,000+ charging points on one app. But still you need to download a Tata Power or a Xeon who is not integrated. So I think if you look at the mobile phone industry, and for me that's also a very good corollary, look at the charging, look at the towers. You know, there was a point of time when each mobile phone company felt that my tower, I won't share my infrastructure. But now that has changed. Now they all have common towers, and they all feel that by collaborating is a much better way. So I think we have put the cart before the horse. At least the charging stations, they all want proprietary, apps and stuff. But the moment we start interfacing, and I think the key word is democratization. As OEMs, we need to democratize our charging. As CPOs, they need to democratize their charging setup. We cannot put the cart before the horse. We need to, and as Mercedes-Benz, I have installed, we have the largest network of superchargers in India. And we classify them as more than 130 kilowatt. And that all are open. It's open for any customer, any brand. And I think only if we democratize charging, we also give access, API interfaces and we come up with, I think India as a digital country has the biggest opportunity to get this done and sorted. But it's a issue of maturity. So, I think as the market grows, we are introducing new cars, this should change. The second topic, as I said, is residual value and this entire topic about the resale value of cars. It needs education. So I think with one cycle of ownership on EV, these things will get sorted. I think the EV is much better. And I keep telling a lot of people a simple argument. When you buy a combustion engine car in India, out of the 100 rupees you spend on a car, 65 rupees goes to the government in taxes. You are only buying 35 bucks worth of equipment or content. Whereas in an EV, you buy 95 worth of content and only 5 bucks goes to the government. So I think these are things which a lot of normal consumers don't know, and they end up going for the safer bet, which is a combustion engine.
Now, electric aside, these are some fascinating insights, Santosh, but what I want to understand is, under your leadership, Mercedes is, in India, the business has taken another turn altogether. And you've been at Mercedes for a while now. You've seen how the luxury car maker space is growing. We also see how the other German automakers are trying to catch up, but I think Mercedes really wins that race by a country mile. It's one thing to get ahead, it's another to stay on top. So what has that journey been like for you, and what are you planning now for the roadmap for Santosh Iyer at Mercedes-Benz India to really take it forward and cement that first place position and maybe grow from strength to strength?
I think the two key reasons for our success is starting first with customer dedication. And this is not a figure of speech, because I am sure many brands would say that. But if you look at our business model, we changed our retailing model to direct to consumer. We have made our dealers as agents, and we have taken away a lot of negativity in retailing. Because as a luxury brand, we don't want bargaining, and the focus should be on product experience. We are also making a lot of new initiatives in customer service, where for every car, if it is in my workshop, I am ready to give a courtesy car. So a lot of initiatives there. But that's about customer obsession. The second big thing I would say from our success is our teams. Our teams at MB India, I think I have one of the best team in the automotive industry. Also, when I look at my dealers, I think we have the best partner network, and a combination of this, I think, makes us really stay ahead of the game. And we will continue this path. We will reinvent what we have to do. We won't rest on what we have already achieved. I think the products as well. We have India-specific product features, India-specific configurations. The E-Class, for example, was the first right-hand drive E-Class in the world with a long wheelbase. So we will remain as passionate. And of course, I say world over, not only in India. We invented the car. We continue to reinvent it, and we will reinvent it again. So I think product to start with a passionate team, I think we will keep pushing the boundaries.
Another thing I wanted to really bring up with you was, we mentioned the entire portfolio, but do you think that a stronger push on hybrids would perhaps be the panacea to India's automotive sector? Is that the stepping stone that we missed over here? If you just look at the entire auto sector altogether.
our view is we have hybrid powertrains also to start with. But if you see, there is a reason why incentives were not given by Europe and US for hybrids. Because what is your final goal? Our final goal as a country and is zero tailpipe emission. Now you can have many technologies which will reduce emission. So a PHEV still reduces emission. It is still not zero. So if you want to go there, should we take the big step and go for it? It takes time, and I still remember, the Honorable Minister Gadkari ji, when he announced BS6 transition.
Yes.
He said India has to go from BS4 to BS6. Everybody was up in arms. They said, even Europe went BS4, Euro 4 to 5 to 6.
Yes.
But we said we should transition, and look here today we have transitioned successfully, and we are there.
So leapfrogging is the way.
I think if we have missed couple of quarters and years in this transition, no point in still being behind the curve. I think as Indians, we deserve the best. We deserve the best technology. We should take the leap of faith, and then we should see what is right. But hybrid and many other technologies are more for fuel efficiency, which as OEMs we anyway have to do, because we are responsible to meet the country's fuel efficiency norms, and that's a mix that we need to put into our portfolio. So I am also a big fan. I would say hybrids are great. Plug-in hybrids are even better. You can run, in our portfolio we have plug-in hybrids which run 100 kilometers without even a charge. But in a practical use case, they are all emission reducing steps. The full tailpipe zero emission is EV. So I think it's about technology is available. If the technology was not there, then I would agree to say let's go slowly. The other argument is charging. A lot of consumers say that charging infrastructure is not there, so let's continue with hybrid, or we should promote. But here again, we have data for the last 3 years. 90% of my customers don't use a public charging station. They all charge at home or at office, because these are available. You just plug in it in the night and you are able to charge. So yes, it's required public infrastructure, but if you don't take that leap of faith, all of us during COVID saw that when cars were not on the road, there were birds. We all have experienced a better quality of air quality there. And now we can say we are not part of the problem. It is caused by industries or something else. But let's accept. And I think this is where, as responsible OEMs and as Mercedes-Benz, we have said we are not only looking at zero tailpipe emission, we are looking at carbon neutrality. So we are going to completely ensure that every product from Mercedes-Benz will be zero carbon footprint, and right from the supply chain till the time the customer is using and recycling it. And this is an ambitious target in the next 14-15 years we want to achieve. So if that's the goal, and I think that's also the goal, India is also a signatory to the Paris climate change and many others, I think we need to take the big steps than small baby steps.
Big steps, baby steps aside, as a last question to you, I want to understand, keep the tech aside, the policy aside, sustainability aside, auto aside, and what is it that you do to unwind from all of this when you want to just shut shop? Because all top business leaders have some mantra. So what is it that you do when you want to unwind and zone out? And please don't tell me you're going for a long drive in a Mercedes. What is it that, what is your real unwind mantra?
It's a very simple thing. First I have to keep my phone away. Because I have the itch of picking it up very often. So first step, keep the phone away. And the second step, I try to spend time with my kids, my family. I am blessed with a daughter and twin boys. They are 13 and 9. So I think that's the right age. So anytime I can't come, that's the best de-stressing that I can have for me as such. So I think that's the key setup. Otherwise, the usual stuff of taking a walk or taking a stroll, but I think time with family is what really energizes me, I would say.
Fantastic, and this conversation has been insightful and energizing. And honestly, from the first patent wagon from the 1800s that I have sat on in Mumbai to today, driving the EQA and everything in the EQ lineup, it's been a fascinating journey for Mercedes and for MB India under your leadership. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thanks a lot for having me.
What a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks.